Namaste nerds, this is Navanad, Budget Pub Stomper, and today I am bringing you back Animar. This is an old classic for the 200 of you that watched this video 8 months ago. Stick with me, this isn't the same video. For the lion's share of you who didn't even know that Budget Pub Stomper was a human being with feelings 8 months ago, this will be brand new to you. But to all of you, this is going to be new in the in that it's an Animar deck built at $100 budget that frickin' works. And it doesn't just work, it slaps. Now, there was a very silly thing going on. I'm going to go quick through this. When I originally built the list, it was very, hot and cold. It was half of the time it just took off, and it was like, wow, how does anybody ever beat this thing? And then half the time it just sputtered out and did nothing. And it just took me so long to figure out why that was. But I did eventually get my head around the problem. And the problem really boils down to this cast cost right here. This is Tremor. Blue, red, green. While we're at it, let's read the commander. Animar, Soul of Elements. Protection from white and black. That's big in this format. Or this little R special end of the format. Dodges Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exiles, all the 2-mana black removal, and all the good black removal. Meaning not the 2-mana, anyway. Then whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1 counter on Animar Soul of Elements. So he grows, he gets big. And creature spells that you cast cost 1 less to cast for each +1 counter on Animar. Okay, so what does this give us? If you're familiar with my little checklist, what are some of the things that Animar checks? Well, there's 2 big ones. I mean, he could be like a beat stick, right? You can grow him big and smash face with him, but that's not really what we're playing him for. Number 1, it's the cost reduction. He's a mana engine. That's big. That's big and especially budget, where there's a premium on mana. The best commanders in the budget, the sub $100 format within a format within a format, and you can check my math on that. I think they tend to be mana engines, and this is one of them. So check, and then the other big one is this is a combo piece in the command zone. So check. It's got 2.5 checks. Now, it's also got another quasi check in that it puts us in good colors. Tremor, if you're in a budget competitive deck, if you're building on a budget and you want to do 3 colors, it's hard to do better than Tremor. There's the dorks, there's the rituals, there's good mana fixing. The land base tends not to be very expensive, although this little bastard proved to tell a different tale. Because that was the problem, guys. I'm gonna go down this path real quick. So the problem I was running into with Animar is half the time it takes off, and you wonder how can anybody ever beat this, and look at how amazing this is, and half the time it would just fall in its face, and it took me way too long to figure out why. The reason is the cast cost. Blue, red, green. Just duh, right? So here's the problem. There's a little, the commander tries to trick you. By being a 3-mana Tremor commander, you would think, well, this is just going to be very simple to get out on turn 2 every game because I've got all the dorks. So we're just going to go turn 1, dork, turn 2, Animar. Easy peasy, right? And then you go over the deck list and you look and see, well, half the cards are green, so we're just going to dump a bunch of forests in the deck, and then we'll put a smattering of the usual suspect budget dual lands, and off to the races we will go. Not the case, guys. You cannot build this deck that way. I don't know why it took me so long to figure out, but finally I put my finger on it. The problem is very basically this. If you go turn 1 forest, turn 1 mana dork, and I just mean turn 1 forest, turn 1 elvish mystic. Or turn 1 forest, turn 1 Findhorn elves. If you do that, you are exactly not going to play Animar on turn 2. Interesting, right? That's the conundrum, and that's what took me so long to put my fucking finger on, and why I couldn't make Animar tick the way that it really deserves to tick and shine the way it ought to shine in this budget format. I jammed too many forests and expected the 1-mana green dorks to do too much of the heavy lifting. I relied upon the fact that Tremor has very inexpensive lands, and I put together a $4 mana base with a bunch of 1 green mana dorks, and the deck works some of the time. But now we are going all the way in on gold hounds and wild canters and strike it rich, even though it's not even a creature. And we are using the spirit guides, of course. And this pains me to even look at, but we put $9.43 into our mana base. This is what had to happen. To make the deck operational, we've got to do this. I mean, doing a turn 1 green dork, paying 1 green mana for a dork that taps for green mana, doesn't do what you want it to do unless you play it out with a land that taps for not green. So I went even as far as Tarnished Citadel in this deck. Because if we go turn 1 Yavimaya Coast, or turn 1 Carpulsan Forest, or Command Tower, or usually Exotic Orchard, into turn 2, or if we have one of these flooded groves on turn 2, that can be an exception to the rule, because we can use our turn 1 Forest with our turn 1 Dork, and we can tap those two to create not green anyway. So yeah, and Tinderwall. Yeah, just mentioning that a little bit late, but you get the idea. So, I mean, the object of the game here is to get a turn 2 Animar, Soul of Elements, which, by the way, is still not trivial. I mean, you still, you have to mulligan for it. And then we are usually pretty well up and running. Now, the other thing that the deck had a problem with back in the day is it would just kind of hit a point where if it hadn't just won the game, then it was sort of just going to sputter out and stop. And I've totally fixed that problem. I mean, I've just jammed so many value engines, and a lot of that was reliant on this idea of playing 47 creatures. How do I mean that? Well, hold on. We'll get there, but we're going to get there on my time, not your time. Rush me. All right, so let's talk about the win lines, right? That's the thing. That's how I usually start my videos. We talk about the commander, then we talk about the combos. But I had a story to tell. I hope it was interesting to learn about my past failures and future regrets. So, what are we doing with this guy? Well, a lot of it has to do with this thing right here. Let's trace out the key players. The key players are Ancestral Statue. And I don't know quite what to consider a key player, but we'll say however you pronounce that mage. I'm going to call it Crustacean. This is Krusty. So Animar, yes. Ancestral Statue, Krusty. What's the other guy? Oh, here. Witty Roastmaster. So those are some of the main characters. Ancestral Statue, Krusty, and Witty. Krusty, Witty, Ancestral Statue, and Animar. That's the main cast. Then we've also got, we didn't go this route. I don't even know if I want to go down this path. I built an entire other deck with all the new toys that came out, including Cloudstone Curio. No, we'll talk about it maybe at the end of the video if there's time. Sticking on to the point, we're staying with the topic at hand. Imperial Recruiter, another key player. This guy, you can't really build this deck without him. And Phyrexian Metamorph, I think I'm ready to go on record and call him one of the key players, along with, where is it? She eludes me. She doesn't elude the wallet. She's hard to find in a lineup of creatures, but she can sure find your damn wallet. Look at that, $12.44. I hope you guys bought Spellseekers when I did the first Animar list, and she was $7. Spellseeker. This is definitely one of the main cast of characters. So this is the crew. The crew is Spellseeker, Krusty, Ancestral Statue, Witty Roastmaster. Did I forget one? Phyrexian Metamorph, Imperial Recruiter, and who am I leaving off the menu? Walking Ballista, which fantastically is down to $5.66. Thank God. Oh, thank little baby Jesus for $5 Ballista. Our wallet could hardly bear the burden of the Spellseeker and the Imperial Recruiter. Look at this. Look, Animar's $10, right? Then we've got Imperial Recruiter at $10.65 and Spellseeker at $12.44. How do we do this? You got to be good. That's what it is. You just have to be good. You got to stick with the thing and see it through. That's what we did. And I mean, you guys haven't seen the Goldfishing yet. For all you know, the deck doesn't work. What does it look like when the deck does work? So put, I guess very simply, the deck looks like it's got, say, 3 counters on Animar, which means your Ancestral statue only costs 1 mana. You tap that 1 mana, you cast the Ancestral statue. It bounces back to your hand, but not before it puts a counter on Animar. And then you play it again and bounce it back to your hand. So Ancestral Statue says whenever it comes into play, you can return a non-land permanent you control to your hand. Now, it doesn't say return another non-land permanent to your hand. And so what that means is you can use it to just get, if you can get 4 counters on Animar, it's free. And if you have 2 mana and the Ancestral Statue in hand, then you can pay the 2 mana and play it, and it puts 1 counter. I did my math wrong, but you get the idea. As long as you've got 3 counters on Animar and at least 1 mana open, your Ancestral Statue can make Animar infinitely big. So we're putting infinite counters for infinite cost reduction, and you could, if you were so inclined, to just go to combat at that point, smack the person who's most likely to have interaction. In fact, you probably should do that most of the time. Kill the guy that might stop your combo, and once you've got your 10 billion soul of elements, this guy here, you will cast Walking Balista with his cost reduced by whatever, 10 billion. So you'll have a 5 billion Walking Ballista. Ta-da, everybody's dead. Or Walking Ballista can kind of be subbed in with Witty Roastmaster or Krusty. So if you have the, it's, in the reverse order. You just play the Krusty first, and then you bounce the Ancestral Statue over and over and over. You can do the same thing with Cloudstone Curio, and I was real excited about trying it. It's just not worth it. It doesn't, I don't know, it turns out to not pull its weight. You're never tutoring for it. You had to play special tutors for it in the first place that you don't need to play anyway. You don't need it. There are other ways to win. So if you get to a point where your Ancestral Statue gets like 86, it's down, somebody hits it with the Swords to Plowshare, which isn't all that easy. He's a bouncy little fucker. You gotta aim, you gotta lead on him. But if somebody does lead on him and blows him up with not a lightning bolt, fuckers, you can forget that. A Ghost Fire Slice. If somebody Ghost Fire slices the statue, no, that doesn't get rid of it. So if somebody Swords to Plowshare or Path to Exiles this guy, you're not out of it, and you don't need a Cloudstone Curio. You can do lots of things. You can use the Lily Splash Mentor. I ended up cutting it. It's a cheap piece. You could definitely play it. I'm back on Old Faithful Teamer Sabertooth. I think he does a better job considering, well, all things considered. Do I even want to talk? Nope, again, we'll save the talk about this other list. This other list I cooked up. This is the other list I cooked up. This is the one we're not talking about. We'll save the talk. We're not talking about this now, but if we do, it'll be later. Okay, well, it is later now, so technically we can talk about it, but I guess technically we already were. We'll come to it if we have time. All right, so the other kind of, if my primary game plan doesn't work, then yeah, I guess we're going to go with Teamer Sabertooth and Peregrine Drake. This is a good, there's lots of little kind of fill-ins that'll sort of work some of the time. Maybe you've got like this is the main other one, is you're going to put, maybe you put a Utopia Sprawl on a land, and you've got 4 lands out. Well, I don't know, it doesn't matter. You get the idea. You're going to be in a situation where Teamer Sabertooth is in play that'll let you bounce your Peregrine P. Diddy. Too soon? No, fuck it. It's my video. It's my world. This is P. Diddy. All right. So, if nobody else can save you, if you cannot win the game with your Ancestral Statue, P. Diddy's got you. You just need a Teamer Sabertooth. And in this case, it's not going to be P. Diddy dragging you off in his hands. It's going to be Teamer Sabertooth is going to be bouncing the P. Diddy into his hand, into your hand. You're going to be holding P. Diddy close to the vest. You're going to be embracing the P. Diddy. Then don't do that. God, do I need to cut that out of the video? I don't know where that came from. Fuck it. Nobody's watching. We're like halfway through the video. It's only my real homies that are here, and you guys know I don't like that motherfucker. Surely just got demonetized. It's a good thing I don't monetize my videos. Probably at the first mention. Anyway, moving on to Temur Sabertooth as a fill-in for Ancestral statue. You bounce a mana positive thing to your hand and recast it over and over and over, and you make infinite mana, and you cast your walking balista. Or you have your witty roastmaster in play. I don't even think I want to talk about this guy anymore. We're going to call this guy Prince, because I was going to call it the artist formerly known as P. Diddy, but I think you'll still know what I'm talking about. So this is Prince. So we will forever, from henceforth, we will be calling the Peregrine Drake Prince. So we will, sometimes we'll have to go to our backup, and that is Temur Sabertooth with a witty roastmaster, or Krusty. Don't forget Krusty. Or Peregrine Drake, and we're going to bounce, with Peregrine Drake, we're going to bounce over and over and over and burn the table out. So we'll either generate infinite mana by going mana positive with Temur and Prince. Well, I was talking about like rappers and musicians and artists, and I didn't just call him Drake. I had to go with Diddy. Oh, fuck, I don't know what the fuck. This is Drake. This guy's just got so many names. Drake with Temur Sabertooth. That's it. It's Temur Sabertooth with Drake. It'll net us infinite mana. And if it's not clear how that's happening, we're cost reducing the Drake till where he costs like 1 or 2 mana. He can cost 2 mana, and it costs 2 to bounce him, and he will untap 5 lands. Or 4 lands with a wild growth. Or he can cost 1 mana, and you can have 4 lands. Most of the time, actually, when you're going off with him, you won't have 5 lands in play. So probably good to mention that you don't need 5 lands in play. So that's the backup. And now I talked about Imperial Recruiter, and I talked about spell. This video took a bit of a turn, didn't it? Are you guys still hanging on to that Diddy stuff? It's just, let's move beyond it, guys. I know I'm the one that keeps bringing it back up. Sorry. Leaving it in the dirt. Leaving it in the dust where it belongs. Spellseeker and Imperial Recruiter, I promised they were key players, but they really haven't done shit in this video, right? So what is Imperial Recruiter to me? What is Imperial Recruiter to Animar? What is Imperial Recruiter to you if you decide to play Animar? And I think you should. This is a super fun deck to play. It really is sick. It's very good, very powerful. You just have to be able to actually cast the damn thing. Animar is the damn thing. Imperial Recruiter is a 1-card win assembler. There's lots of pieces that actually make the combo go off, but you can get them all together for a bargain price with the casting of 1 Imperial Recruiter. So let's say you've got your Animar he's living large. Well, let's say he's living a little bit low, in fact. He's only got 2 counters on him, but you've got an Imperial Recruiter, and Imperial Recruiter is here to rescue you. That's what he does. He rescues Animars. That's his job. You have 1 red mana, you cast your Imperial Recruiter that is discounted by 2 because you have 2 counters on Animar. When you cast the Imperial Recruiter, you're going to put a 3rd counter on Animar. Keep that number in your head. It matters. You're going to have 3 counters on Animar. So what are we looking for? Guesses, guys. I want to hear your guesses. Psychically throw them out. Well, it's in the future now, so you're going to have to send them. Okay, yep, you're sending them back. I'm getting some dumb answers. I'm getting the usual answers. Most of them are kind of dumb. Why not Ancestral Statue? No, dummy. You can't get in because read the card. When Imperial Recruiter enters the battlefield, search your library for a creature card with power 2 or less. Oh, if only Ancestral Statue were a 2-power creature. Nope. Unfortunately, that is not the way things are. So in this world that we live in, not you, a guy who is thinking Imperial Recruiter for a statue, we've got to take the scenic route. So some of you got it right. I'm not going to call you out by name. I don't want to embarrass anybody. But the Imperial Recruiter is going to be searching up. What did we already talk about? We talked about Spellseeker, but it's not usually going to be Spellseeker. It'll be Phyrexian Metamorph. So remember, we have 3 counters now. We were starting from a very low place. We only had 2 counters on our Animar. So we get the Phyrexian Metamorph. Now, with 3 counters on Phyrexian Metamorph, we can cast the Phyrexian Metamorph for free. In doing so, we can put another counter on the Animar Soul of Elements. Whatever shall we copy? We're going to copy the Imperial Recruiter dummy. Okay, now what are we going to get with the copy of Imperial Recruiter? Well, we're going to get Spellseeker. And how does that help? Well, the Spellseeker is going to come down for 1 blue mana, and it's going to grab Neoform. So then we've got a blue and a green mana left. We will cast the Neoform, sacrificing the Spellseeker. And you might well sacrifice something else if you've got it, but you can sacrifice the Spellseeker. And now you get the Ancestral statue. So those of you who were wrong were right. We just had to take the scenic route, but we got there, and I feel like we got there together, and more together than we were before we got there. I think we got there as a family. I didn't really feel like we were leaving as a family, but we got there as a family. So those are the cast of characters, and that's the why. So we're going to, if you're still lost, by the way, because I guess technically the line is a little bit more complicated than that. We Spellseekered our Neoform. We Neoformed our Spellseeker. And then we Ancestral Statued our Imperial Recruiter. It doesn't really matter. So once we turn the Spellseeker into an Ancestral Statue, we start doing the bouncy dance with the Ancestral Statue. We pick it up, we put it down, we pick it up, we put it down. We put infinite counters on Animar. And then on the last bounce, we're going to bounce, let's just say because we don't want to spend mana. We're trying to do this from a mana low situation. So we will use the last bounce trigger from Ancestral Statue to return Phyrexian Metamorph to hand. So we're going to end up with the Phyrexian Metamorph in our hand and all of the counters on Animar, so we can cast the Phyrexian Metamorph for free, copying the Imperial Recruiter. And this time we're going to grab Walking Ballista. Did you guys follow that? I mean, I felt like it made sense when I was saying it, but now that I think back on it, that was kind of a clusterfuck, right? I should probably go over it again. We've got our Animar. We have 2 counters. Remember that number. It matters. And this is like, I mean, it's easy to put 2 counters on this guy. You can do it in your sleep. You can cast just a Bond Beetle. Just this alone will put 2 counters on Animar. You play your Animar on turn 2, turn 3 you go Bond Beetle, right? And you've got a couple mana untapped. So you've got Bond Beetle comes in, it's a creature, so it puts a counter on Animar, and then it says when you play it, you can put another counter on a creature of your choice. I recommend you select Animar. Or you can use did I get rid of it? I might have got rid of it. I want it back. There's another one that's, oh shit. Did I get rid of it? I don't know what it's called, so I can't look for it. There's so many freaking creatures in this lineup. There it is. I didn't get rid of it. Scrappling, same thing. So you can go 1 mana Scrappling. You can put your second counter. You get 2 counters on Animar with just this 1 mana creature. Same as Bond Beetle, but this one is not mana specific. It's any 1 mana of any color. So now we've got 2 counters on Animar. Remember that. That's important. I'm totally lost. Where were we? I'm kidding. We've got the Imperial Recruiter and we've got a red mana. We play the Imperial Recruiter because it's discounted by 2 because we have 2 counters. Now, when we cast the Imperial Recruiter, it's going to put another counter on Animar. Now we have 3 counters. Remember that. That's important. The Imperial Recruiter is going to go and send it back to me. Send it back through space and time. Yeah, you guys are mostly caught up now. You're going to be finding Phyrexian Metamorph. Okay, so Phyrexian Metamorph to hand. Now, how many counters does Animar have? 3. So what does Phyrexian Metamorph cost to cast? Nothing. So we cast the Phyrexian Metamorph by paying 2 life. And we put another counter on Animar. So what's the counter total up to? It's 4. And that's exactly what Ancestral Statue costs to cast. So you can also run through this line if you just happen to have the Ancestral Statue in hand. But we're going to play, in this case we don't. We're going to play the Phyrexian Metamorph, copying Imperial Recruiter, and it is going to find Spellseeker. Spellseeker is going to come down for a blue, and it is going to find Neoform. We're going to cast the Neoform on the Spellseeker. We're going to sacrifice Spellseeker, turning it into Ancestral Statue. Ancestral will come down and bounce over and over and over infinitely buffing up your Animar. And remember, it already had 4 counters on it, so even the first bounce was free. Because, and it's important that you have the 3. So, Animar says whenever you cast a creature, Neoform does not cast the creature. So, this just puts it into play. If you didn't have this thing loaded up with 4 counters, this line wouldn't work. And that's why you actually do need to get the Phyrexian Metamorph if you start the line with only 2 counters on Animar. So, yeah, we got the Imperial Recruiter. We recruited for the Phyrexian Metamorph. We Phyrexian Metamorphed as a Recruiter. The Recruiter found the Spellseeker, or the copy of the Recruiter found the Spellseeker. The Spellseeker found Neoform. The Neoform turned our Spellseeker into the Ancestral statue. The Ancestral statue bounces up and down over and over, putting infinite counters on Animar. And then the last bounce, as we last cast the Ancestral statue, we pop the Phyrexian Metamorph back into hand. We cast it one more time, again copying the Imperial Recruiter, but this time we're going to Imperially recruit for Walking Balista. Now we've got about 10 billion Animar, so we can cast a 500 million Walking Balista, and most of the time that's going to do the job. You'll have an effectively infinite Walking Balista that will infinitely burn the table out. So that's the cast of characters and how the deck works, kind of why it works. There's simpler lines, there's easier things to do, but that's definitely the coolest thing to do. And there's lots of ways to, mix and match parts, and sometimes you're going to have certain resources that will allow you to skip certain parts of that line. Whether you want to or not will depend on exactly what's going on with exactly what's going down. 26 minutes and 52. It's a little later than I'd hoped. I really do want to show you guys the deck work. Maybe I'll do this old school, and only the people that actually want to see the deck run will watch the deck run. Maybe I'll do a part 2 video. So let's talk about what I did to this deck to make it actually hum. We talked about fixing the land base. We stuck a bunch of money into it. Like, it was $3. It's now $10, $9.43. But we got some new pieces, and we got the new piece, Cloudstone Curio, and you could try it in your list. I think it's fine. It gives you another commander agnostic way to win the game, but we already have commander agnostic ways to win the game. Another thing you could do is you could add, and boy, I think this is super close. In fact, I'm going to put this in the considering board right now. This deserves a spot. Dual caster, mage, for the considering. Yeah, this guy should, maybe it should be in the deck. It's a piece of interaction. In fact, okay, guys, we got to jettison something. I need that. I need that guy in my deck right now. Should I pause you, or should I make you sit through this with me? Let's pause you. I think better when I'm not under pressure. After thinking for a few seconds, I am going to make it. I'm going to torture you. You're going to be tortured along with me, because this is fucking hard. Like, this deck list is tight now. I added all kinds of grind engines. Radagast is flipping phenomenal in this deck. It's so crazy. It's super duper good. We'll talk about it in a minute. Toski, super good. Orhan Frostfang, super good. Like, what was I talking about before? One of the problems is if the deck doesn't get there and win, if it gets stopped, it just sputters out and does nothing. Not anymore. Now we've got Grazilax and Orhan Frostfang and Radagast and Vizier of the Menagerie. Like, the whole deck is value engines, and the value engines work way better in this deck than they work in your deck, punk. Because it's 47 creatures, and they're all different kinds of creatures. Beast Whisperer. I mean, the deck just draws cards like nobody's business. And it does it for cheap. You store them off. You get your Beast Whisperer in play, and you play a Bond Beetle into a Destiny Spinner, into a Imperial Recruiter, into a Namesticker Goblin, and you're making all this extra mana, and you're playing all these extra creatures, and you're drawing all these extra cards, and then eventually you're going to get to go to combat with all those creatures, and your Orhan Frostfang is going to draw you 8 cards, or your Grazilax that's cloned is going to end up drawing you 6 cards, or your Starwinder, god dang, I don't even want to get started on this guy. Do you know how nasty this is in this deck? Think about just the commander itself. It's got protection from 2 colors, so it can get through somewhere. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw that many cards. So if our Animar's up to an 8/8, we can just pound through and draw 8 cards off of somebody's ass. And, I mean, that's not unrealistic. He hangs out at 8-8 anytime you go. Anytime you're not winning, if you have not managed to put together a win, it's not because Animar's little. I can tell you that. So, yeah, there's just tons and tons of draw engines, and I don't want to cut any of them. Usuri, I mean, what are we going to get rid of? Fauna Shaman, maybe? Ugh, man, that's tough. Maybe Cloud of Fairies, but again, when we're storming through the deck, just drawing all kinds of cards with our Radagast or our Beast Whisperer, Vizier, resetting the top, digging. Or look at our sorceries. We've got 6 only. Bring to Light, Other, Neoform, Nature's Rhythm, another basically 1-card win assembler. Neoform obviously can't come out. Strike It Rich can't come out. Weird Harvest, another 1-card win condition. This just finds Walking Ballista and Statue. It's got to be a Braid. Damn, but then I still have to make room for the copy spell. Alright, you know what? This is just going to go into the considering. We'll talk about it later, you and I. So are we still on considering? Damn, I want that Dualcaster in here like now. Dude, most of the time that's just going to be a 1-mana fork. Get in my deck. But then if I put that in, I have to put the Twin Flame. What is the Electro Duplicate? And Electro Duplicate is really good in here too. Do I sound a little whiny? I'm feeling a little whiny. Okay, Electro Duplicate. And Dualcaster Mage. God dang, I've got to make cuts for them. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll do it after the game. I mean, one of them is going to be a Braid. Let's just do this. Peel the sticker off. Dualcaster's in. Dualcaster for a Braid, easy peasy. Oh God, what is Dualcaster expensive? When did that happen? Okay, so this might make my life just a little tiny bit easier. Or more difficult, realistically speaking. Alright, he's up to 277. Okay, so that was a good idea. And maybe we will add him in. But not right now. So let's move this guy to considering. Okay, because the thing is, like, we've got so many good ETBs that the card that you normally play that you don't want to play in the deck to do the Dualcaster Mage combo is Electro Duplicate or Twin Flame or whatever. But, like, we are playing ETBs the deck, so that Electro Duplicate is never going to be dead. We'll cast it once to do something cool, and then we'll flash it back and do something else that's cool. Yeah, like, I mean, even if it's just a name sticker goblin, it's a ritual. Okay, those will probably end up in the deck at some point, but for right now, we can justify its not being in the deck by the price tag. Karyuna is another really big piece that could go in. Same with Lily Splash Mentor, but this is the list we're on. Enjoy what you like. Don't complain about what you don't have. Be grateful for what you do have. Okay, so this is the deck, and yeah, especially now knowing that card is 277, I stand by it. So I guess I've kind of already spiraled out of control and started discussing the things that are new and improved about the deck, and it's all the draw engines. This really is like draw engines the deck, but we've also got some more, well, like a sick new tutor and transit mage. This is the one we needed, guys. For 1 blue, 90+% of the time, you're going to cast this for 1 blue, and it is going to find your Ancestral statue. That's big. That's big. Sure would be nice to have a Twin Flame to copy it and find something else cool. But not today. Maybe tomorrow. Then, yeah, we jammed all the value engines, Orhan Frostfangs. We've got also a bunch of interaction in the form of creatures. Outland Liberator. So all of our interaction I started moving away from spell-based and into creature-based. I want to get Tishana's Tidebinders in here too. If ever there were a deck for that card, this is the one. But we've got like Volatile Stormdrake, Reclamation Sage, Outland Liberator, Phyrexian Revoker. We've got, protection pieces. We've got all of our interaction is going towards creatures. That's what I want to do. We're not playing Regrowth. We're playing Eternal Witness. Yeah, Twin Flame, get in my deck. Okay. Then we've got tutors. The sorceries are, with the exception of Strike It Rich, which we already were talking about the problem that was put in here to solve, the turn to Animar problem. Mostly these are just tutors. Well, the rest of them are just tutors. You can almost call Neoform a combo piece in a way. But Bring to Light, all the usual suspects in a good team or deck that's looking to tutor something to the battlefield. Eldritch Evolution will work with our line too, by the way. It's just costs one more mana, but only green, which is a lot easier to produce, really, in the deck than green-blue a lot of the time. You can't spell seek for it, but if you're using this in the combo line, then you've gone past that. You're on the detour to the detour, actually, if you follow me. And then for interaction, I basically, well, in the instance, we still have tutors, and there's a new one here, Scour for Scrap, and this is another way to find our statue. And if you're playing Cloudstone, it'll find Cloudstone Curio too. This says for 4 mana instant speed, choose one or both. Search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, put it in your hand, or return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. This is a big ad. For 22 cents, this is fantastic. I'm playing a bunch of 1 mana interaction. Basically, I think you saw me cut the last piece of interaction that's not 1 mana. We've got Alchemist Retrieval. I guess a lot of times this is going to be 2 mana, but a lot of times we're going to bounce our own things with this. Somebody tries to murder our Animar in cold blood, 1 mana, bounce it to hand. We kind of faded the Swords to Plowshare. Or if we just need to reset our Spellseeker, we want to go again with Spellseeker, Alchemist Retrieval, bounce it to hand, recast it. Because when you cast Alchemist Retrieval on your own things, either to reuse the ETB, or to restart a combo, or to protect one of your pieces, it's only 1 blue mana. So as a, quote, protection spell, this is 1 blue. The cleave cost is a blue and a colorless. That's if you want to bounce somebody else's spell. And I think in this deck, maybe be like 50-50, or maybe just a little bit more often you'll bounce somebody else's stuff. Then we've got the 1 mana stuff. An Offer You Can't Refuse, Autumn's Veil, Miscast, Spell Pierce, Dispel, Lightning Bolt, Flare of Dupe, which is another reason I'd like to have the Dualcaster Mage in the deck. Sorry, now I just feel like I'm pouting. Autumn's Veil. We've got only 11 instants, and Court of Calling, Shared Summon, so 2 of them are tutors. 3 of them are tutors. So we've only got 8 instants, but they're good instants. They're good 1 mana, cheap, slim interaction. So we've got interaction in our creature base primarily, and then we've got like the best interaction we can play, bang for the buck, because we did have to keep the cost down on the deck. Obviously, I want to put Bolt Bend in. If you know me, you know me. Animar is almost always going to turn Bolt Bend on, and by the time we want it turned on, he will virtually always turn it on. Do we have time to do Goldfishing? Or did I piss all my time away making jokes that were in bad taste? Look at all this stuff. This has been around for a while. The deck has been iterated on. Curiuna is another piece you could totally play. Lily Splash compared to Temur Sabertooth. You could play both. You could play one. You could play the other. Curiuna is nice because you can find this off of Imperial Recruiter. The Curiuna lines are also super complicated and very cool. But since I'm not playing it and it is super complicated, maybe we leave that for another time. It does kind of the same thing we were talking about before. It costs 1 blue mana for every time you do it, but it is tutorable with your Imperial Recruiter. And guys, honestly, the story of the deck is if you can find your Imperial Recruiter, you can put a win together. It's just like that. That's just how the deck is tuned. It needs mana, but not that much, like 5. Like if you have Imperial Recruiter in hand, 2 counters on Animar, and 5 mana, I'm pretty sure you're there. Might be less than that. Or, of course, it is if you've got more counters on Animar. I digress. Let's Goldfish. What about this? So this is like one of those hands that's tough to say, right? Because you look at it and you think, well, no, because we can't ramp into our turn 2 Animar, right? But, however, we can put our Krusty down before we play our Animar. Which then we don't get the trigger, we don't get the +1 buff, which could end up coming back to bite us. But We do also have perfect mana. And the tutor, I think I'm inclined to keep this. This is close. Like, I mean, obviously we would like to have like the stellar turn 1 Animar. Let's try to win the game on turn 3 or 4 type hand. But we're going to play test this and just see where it takes us. Is this the hand? Oh yeah, and we've got a value engine. Yeah, sure, we'll keep this. It's, you know, it's slow. It's slow to the Animar, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be slow to the win. Okay, that's a good piece. I think we are just going to go turn 1, land, pass. And everybody's going to say, sick competitive deck, dude. And we're going to go turn 2, Krusty. Not even buffing our Animar, not off-springing it. And we're going to go turn 3, Animar. This is all feeling a bit lackluster, but maybe we can kind of pretend to be the small bean and nobody's afraid of us, so that's good. The reason that they're not afraid of us isn't good. Okay, so how might we want... And sequencing is really kind of tricky in this deck, but I mean, it's not that bad. You'll get it. The biggest problem right now really is we've only got 1 green mana. I guess the sequencing isn't going to be all that difficult because we can't cast all the shit we want. But we will pay a green to bring out the Destiny Spinner. I guess a green into colorless because this did not get us anywhere. That will leave us with only blue. Doesn't matter. No. Okay, so we'll put a counter on our Animar. And so future endeavors will be 1 cheaper. We will tap 1. Play a 1 mana Phyrexian Revoker to turn off. Is it any permanent? Jessica. Thrice Reborn. You're turned off. Jessica's out of here. You're fucking out of here, Jessica. You do nothing. We put another counter on this guy, and now we've got 2. That's a little sad. If we had 3, we could get our morph guy out and go to 4. We'll do it next turn. All right, next turn. And we hit a land. So now we've got all kinds of ideas. I've got all kinds of ideas now. What do we want to do here? Again, we only have 1 green mana. Yeah, that does suck. I hadn't really considered that, to be honest. Yeah, we're on the grind plan, apparently. Well, suck. Well, did I play a land already? Because if I did, no, I did not. I was going to take it back. Because we really need a green mana. Well, I guess we could play Toski and then smack in for damage. Let's play a Toski. I mean, of course, this is going to depend on what's going on, right? We might have a thing to blow up. Maybe this hand looks fantastic, but this is definitely on the grindier side of things. I thought by now we would be casting our Weird Harvest, grabbing the Ancestral statue and the Walking Ballista, and going the fuck off. And honestly, the only thing that stops us is just if one of these lands was a forest, we would be there. We go 1, 2, 1, 2. Nope, because we would be 1 counter short still. 2. Bother. Okay, I guess this is destined to go the grind plan. Alright, let's drop a Toski. This is what else we do, guys. This is the modern version. This is the new look. This is also what happens when you listen to Navinad and you take a land, you keep a hand that doesn't have a turn 2 Animar, which honestly did fuck us up because we didn't get to play the, well, whatever. You were there. You saw what happened. You know my strife. You know my toils. Okay, so Toski comes out. Let's go to... No, let's not go to combat yet. Let's play this guy face down. There's 3 counters on this, so our morph creatures are free. All 1 of them in the deck. So we morph this guy for free, and now this guy gets a little bit bigger, a little bit beefier. And we can probably find... The 2/3 should be good enough in combat. This guy definitely is. Maybe we'll say we can get one of these guys through and not the other. And draw 3. I think that seems fair. And it's my video, fuckers. Boy, the green mana really is hurting us. Yeah. That's what we need. And then we could just go off. Do you know how many times I've looked at this Soul Ring and just wished it were a forest? Like, seriously? I'm not saying to take the Soul Ring out. But if there were a deck that I was going to cut the Soul Ring from, this would be that deck. Yeah, so we're kind of just hoping to hit a green land and then we just win. But what will we do here? Is there anything else to do? All of our cards are green and all of our land is not. Next turn. Hey, all right, win. Okay, so that's what we've been waiting for. We go green, green, and 2. 1, 2. And we don't do it that way. We will tap this to cast a soul ring. Then we will go green, green, and 2. We will cast Weird Harvest that says every player can search their library for 2 creature cards. We're going to get Ancestral Statue and Walking Ballista. If we have to make a deal, we can make a deal that we promise not to get the Walking Ballista. We can promise that. We can say, I promise I won't get the Walking Ballista. And then they'll be like, I'm on to you. You don't need the Walking Ballista. You're going to get Witty Roastmaster. And say, okay, I promise I will not get either of those cards. And then you get maybe the... Oh, you've already got the Destiny Spinner in play. Fuck them. They can't do anything anyway. No, you can maybe negotiate, and then you will get a Siren Storm Tamer and a Walking Ballista. Siren Storm Tamer and Ancestral Statue. You'll play your... so you'll go like blue this way. Cast the Siren Storm Tamer. And now your statue already has 4... Or your Animar already has 4 counters on it. And so you'll have 1 blue floating. Here, let me grab the pieces. I know you're spoiled. Spoiled children. You can't use your imaginations. Siren Storm Tamer. 2-hand. Ancestral Statue. 2-hand. Okay. We've got a blue floating and we play this. And that puts another counter here. And then we bounce this, bounce this, bounce this, bounce this. And somebody tries to... They say, oh my god, oh shit, he's already got Krusty out. He doesn't need the others to win. It's too late. We've got the Siren Storm Tamer in play. This thing says our creatures cannot be countered, so you can't fuck with this anyway. Siren Storm Tamer says our shit cannot be removed. Or, well, it's going to take a battle. You're going to have to go to war. And without your Jessica, I might add. Let's run it back. So, yeah, it's got like 2 modes, right? It's got grindy and it's got turbo. That's kind of where we landed. This is none of the above, so we're going to pitch this and go to a second 7. Damn. And we're going to a 6. It's okay. We've got all the grindy pieces. We've got all the card draw. All right, so we've got our entire combo in hand, but not much else. Perfect mana. Boy, this is another one of those weird hands. It's like, I guess you keep it. I don't know. Let's find out together if this is a keep. Draw for turn. Looks a lot better now. Oh, nope. Not doing it that way. And then we go to turn 2. And we play Animar. And we go to turn 3. It's too bad we have not a single counter. I guess we go... Yeah, if we had one single way to put... If we had like... well, doesn't matter. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's not even the right words to say coulda, shoulda, woulda. Who taught you how to talk? Yeah, so I guess we could go... I never actually said what color that was. And I guess it matters. I'm trying to think of what I actually would have done. Blue. I think it would be blue, realistically. So let's just go like this. Blue and green. Let's float this. Let's do this. Blue and red and a green floating. Does it matter? No, not really. But let's just do it that way. Just because I wanna. No, this does work. Yeah, this gets us there. Okay. So we've got a blue floating. And we've got 1 counter on this. So I can play Walking Ballista. Cost reduced by 1. So I only have to pay 1 mana. No, I've already got 1 floating. So then the floating mana goes in like this. Puts a 3rd counter on here. This is a 1/1 Walking Ballista. Fat lot of good that's going to do us. And we've got 1, 2. Did I not say we had 3 counters on this? We have 2 counters on this now. Is that it? So then this would only put 1 more counter on it. And we're still shy 1 mana. Okay, nope. Let's not do that. Let's just go to our turn 4. Close though, right? That was close. Took close to a turn 3 win. So let's start like this. We've got, I don't know how many counters this had. I think this did not have, I think it was 2/2. 2 counters or a 2/2? I think a 2/2. Yeah, no, it was just this guy, right? I don't fucking know. Doesn't matter. We're going to call it a 2/2. So it's got 1 counter on it, 1 discounted counter. 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 1 discount. We'll cast this. We'll untap up to 5 lands, and we will put a counter on this. So now we've got 2 counters. Then we will go 1, 2. I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it like this. 1, 2. I know this is going to be floating, but just humor me. I haven't spent this floating mana yet, so that's 1, 2. There's 2 counters on this. Ancestral statue. Put a counter on this. Bring this back to hand. Okay. Now this has 3 counters, so my ancestral statue will only cost 1. I'll use the floating mana. That's how we'll designate. To play this, put a counter on this, bounce this. And we'll play this for free, put a counter on this, bounce this. So on and so forth. Over and over and over. And we'll end with this guy having a billion counters on it. And we'll have this guy open. People are maybe not paying attention to it. In fact, maybe the last thing we do when this has a billion counters on it is we bounce this to hand. And then we pay a blue to tap this to untap all of our lands. Yeah, that's what we do. And so that way, we can not only use this if somebody tries to stifle our shit. Yeah, I guess this is it. I think we're on a second 7. Draw. Go like this. No. No sense in taking the extra heat. We go like this. And then we go blue, ouch, green, red. We'll use one of the reds to cast the Strike It Rich and add a treasure token. And then we get our Animar. Then we go to our next turn. Alright, and what do we need? Counters on our Animar for starts, I think. And then Balista. That is what we need. So we'll go. Do we just play this guy out? Probably. For 2. Well, that feels sad. Wasting him. Wasting a perfectly good den protector. So we've got 1 counter here. Man, I don't want to waste the metamorph. Alright, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we don't need to waste the metamorph. I think we can just wait until next turn. And we can Chord of Calling for the Impure Recruiter. Does that win? Does that win the game? Somebody tell me. Let's find out. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chord of Calling, X equals 3. Impure Recruiter. Oh, wait, does Chord puts it on the battlefield, huh? And what are we finding? We've already got the metamorph. Okay, next turn. This guy's so good in this deck, guys. Can't wait to just use it on other people's libraries. It's real hard to mulligan or to goldfish, but oh man, just blitz this guy out for 1 red mana, and you get like a little mini Atali flip off him, and you draw a card, and you put a counter on your guy. All right, so we've got 1 counter. That's not a lot of counters. We'll go blue and 1 for Transit Mage. Counter. And that's going to find, obviously, Ancestral Statue. Now we've got 2 counters, but we really need 3 counters. So we are going to cast the Ancestral Statue to put a counter to bounce this guy. Now, we're going to use our Phyrexian Metamorph. It's going to come down, and it's going to copy. I've already got Walking Ballista, don't I? Really, I guess it doesn't matter. I just need to put a counter on Animar. Okay, so Phyrexian Metamorph comes down and copies one of these fuckers, Impure Recruiter, to get us some kind of a cool backup plan. Something neat to do. Or maybe there's something that we're a little worried about, and we are going to grab the Phyrexian Revoker. And we'll put that thing on ice. And put another counter. And we will cast the Ancestral Statue over and over and over and over and over and over. And cast Walking Ballista, murder the table. That's it, guys. You made it through the entire damned video. So yeah, I think we saw like a turn 4, a turn 5, and a turn fucking grind, and that's what the deck does now. But I'm real happy with it. I think this is, it's not a turbo deck, but it's consistently and constantly finding ways to get there. And even when it gets stopped, or when it falls on its face a little bit, it flounders a little bit, it's constantly moving towards the goal, and in big, broken ways. And we've got commander agnostic win lines now. But the big thing that I really love about the deck now is the, I don't know, literally 10 additional grind engines. I don't think we ever did really talk about this guy. In closing, let's talk about this new guy. New guy here, Radagast the Brown. In the Discord, I think I've been calling him Radagaski, or Radadrabagast the Off-White, which really should be his name, but they don't ask me about this shit. They should. Whenever Radadragagata the Off-White or another non-token creature ETBs under your control, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is that creature's CMC. Then you may put one of those so your however big your creature is, you dig that deep. So this guy's a 4-drop, and it counts itself. So we're going to look through the top 4 cards of our library. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are 100% of the time going to hit, because this deck has like 50 fucking creatures in it. Does it have more than that? It's got a ton of creatures. So we can choose any one of these, put it in our hand, as long as it doesn't share a creature type with anything we have in play. So what do we have in play? Let's say we've got an elemental and we've got an avatar wizard. So we can can't grab the wizard. We can grab this, or we can grab this. So we can do more grindy stuff, or we can do more tutory stuff. We grab that. And then, say the next turn, We cast this guy. Well, now we get to dig 2 deep. And I mean, seriously, just on a dig to 2, we're likely to find something. We don't have a squirrel yet, so we get a squirrel. And then the next time we play a thing, and mind you, these are being cost reduced, we look for another creature. We dig 4 deep because Toski's 4 drop. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have any kinkers. We don't have any Phyrexians or fungus, or we don't even have any elves. But let's say we probably do have an elf in play. So the elf was already in play, and we dig and we grab a canker. And then we cast the canker and we dig 2 deep. Alright, we finally whiffed. But you get the idea, man. It's nasty. And a lot of times you can use this as an outlet, too. Same with the Beast Whisperer. If you have a Beast Whisperer or a Radagast the Brown in play, and you're doing the Ancestral dance, or you're doing the sticker goblin-y things, especially the bouncing things to your hand and recasting them over and over, with Drake, with our homie Drake, when we're doing that thing, we will also draw our deck, and so that's an outlet. That's the video, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. Word to your mothers, and namaste, my nerd fucking homies.